Subordinate Temple 12. We have been in existence over, not just the temple, but the Morriside Temple of America has been in existence over 100 years. You haven't heard a lot about it, mainly because it's not something that the status quo wants to talk about, for obvious reasons. It empowers us and our children, and it creates heirs that's going to empower their children. So it's not something we hear about a lot. We generally start off with a prayer facing to the east, and we have a reading of our bylaws at every meeting, and then we close out with a prayer. We generally ask anybody to have any specific questions. This is a class, not a lecture, so you're welcome to ask questions. And if by chance you should see, you have something to say, just raise your hand up and say Islam, and we'll get right to you. If you see your hand up and then somehow somebody get called, a woman has her hand up, and a sister, they will probably be called before you, and then we'll get to you. So it wouldn't be anything unusual, so don't feel upset or pick on it, unless you want us to release the sisters only. Then you might feel really bad. So also, if you see somebody walking around and they have their hand up like this, then just give him respect to the fact that the speaker is speaking, and he knows the speaker is speaking already. He needs to move around, so he does that. And then have that hand up. If you want to get refreshments over there, it's just the same thing. Just walk out and get the refreshments and come back. If you have any questions before we get started, you can ask those questions now, or you can ask them as we go along. But in any event, more likely somebody will ask you a question during this meeting. So it's kind of that this is a class so that you can get as much out of it as possible. We seek to uplift ourselves and fall in humanity, which is our charge to do. And is there anybody with any particular questions? So with that, we have our Ohio, the Grand Governor of Ohio, or better known as Ecclesiastical District 1. Ohio sits in it. So that would be my charge. The Grand Sheik is Junious Murry III Bay, and he will be leading us in prayer as we take off here. Islam, rise and face the east. Five on the right, 2 on the left. 5 on the left, 2 on the right.
Get you back into your eyes. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation. By night, and by day. Through His holy prophet, through Ali. Amen.
Please stand for the law.
Salvation, Allah, unity. Morriside Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1, the Grand Chief and Chairman of the Morriside Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws consistent for the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Morriside Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Chief is to assist the Grand Chief in all affairs who lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Morriside Temple of America. Act 2, all meetings are to be opened and closed properly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest. But on Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh. And ascended unto his power, God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Morriside Temple of America. The member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. All members must observe these holy and divine laws. And all members must obey the laws of the government. But by being a Moorish American, you are a part and a parcel of the government and must live a life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Morriside Temple of America does not cause any confusion or overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. They may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, other folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by slaveholders in 1779, lasting until 1865 during the time of slavery. This is a new era of time now. All men now must proclaim their free national name and be recognized by the governments in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble duality the prophet, redeeming people from their sinful ways. Moorish Americans are descendants of ancient Moabites, and inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings, becoming part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then they are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children. You got the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be in justice and become part of the uplifting and fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure of love and their bodies clean of water. This divine covenant from your holy prophet, Nabi Ali, the guidance of his father, Allah. Nabi Ali, the founder of the Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Ali, Amen. Moorish Science Temple of America Home Office of Nabi Ali, Chicago, Illinois. Capital U period, capital S period, capital A period. Islam.
Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
I'm very happy. I'm very grateful to be here today. I'm excited. We just came back from Mecca. We enjoyed ourselves and had a great time. Meeting Moors that you ain't seen in a year. It's an exciting thing because they got stuff that they got to tell you. They don't been a year without seeing you too. So they want to tell you some stuff, you know. So everybody trying to talk. And everybody trying to get it. It seems like it'd be a problem, but it ain't. Because we be on that same page. And it's almost like you really ain't got to talk. Get close enough. You know how you got your phone, you can bump. And the information just changed. It's kind of like you just bump into a brother. And the information is swapped because you already on the same page. But before we get started, I want to take the time to welcome my sister back. My sister Jasmine right here. She was gone. She ran off. But we got her back now. So I want to thank her for coming back, and I want everybody to give her a welcome back. We're glad that she's here. So
Islam.
You know, she came through. She was up there in Texas, and she was up there with a storm hit. So you know, Allah protected her. You know, let her get back here. She said, "Enough of that." It came back. It changed. That's not going to work out. One more of those might give you a heart attack. So there's people that live through that. We have a few things that I just want to go over and kind of give us the right mode to take off. This is the beginning of the year. You know, we got the fresh start taking off. September 15th, we go for that week, and that starts our new year. So we got a new year about to take off. So we got a lot of things we want to get in place to get the right footing so we can get things going. We had the ADAP meeting this morning, and we talked about all the people that want ADAP. We made jokes about y'all and all that. I'm just playing. But we did discuss some of the things that we need to do. We're going to refine those and bring it to everybody. So everybody will know what their particular position is, what you're going to do to assist in the uplifting of this madness out here. You know what I'm saying? Unless you don't see it. If you don't see it out there, you're just here hanging out. Hey, that's kind of cool too. Just let us know, hey, I'm just hanging out. You know, I ain't trying to do no work. I ain't trying to uplift nothing and nobody. You know, so but that's what we're doing here. That's our charge, is to uplift fallen humanity. And you may not know it, but you are the fallen humanity. So we can start with yourself. We start with ourselves and get it. And we see how this came about. I'm gonna do some reading. We're gonna move right through it so we can get to people's questions as we go along. It's chapter 48. This chapter is entitled "The End of Time and the Fulfilling of the Prophecies." why is all of the end of time? Why is all of the prophecies fulfilled at the end of time? You know, we keep saying at the end of time. Well, what is the end of time? I mean, the clock's going to stop working? What's going on with that? What is the end of time? What is the time? Time is given a respect, as in all. It's 12 o'clock. It's been here. People rushing, people doing all of these things. But let's say if you live 1,000 years. Anybody ever see Dracula movies and stuff like that? Where they live all this time? They don't never be in a rush. Why are they in a rush? Anybody? Why do you think that vampire is not in a rush? Has nothing with time. So that's not an actual issue. So the word time really doesn't exist in him, because I'm never going to come to a point where I don't exist. So why would I gauge things in reference to time? You see? So when you were taught to gauge things in reference to time, you began to slow your vibrations, because fear began to creep in. But at the end of time, there would be no fear. So when we get to a point where we don't have fear and we're not threatened by time, hey, I'm going to get old, this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. When you get to the point that you're not thinking about that, you're more concerned about the quality of life that you exist in and how you are helping those create a better quality. When you get there, time stops. That's the end of time. And the prophecies will be fulfilled. What is the prophecy? That all men will sit under their own vine and fig tree and be okay. So that's why time is not a relevant issue when we speak in the sense of a spiritual entity. So when you get to that point, Jesus, say here for instance, he died, then he came back. And well, what happened? You know, hey, I came back. You know, where was you at? Was there? Oh, there we are. Time is not an issue. But we constantly think that, okay, he did something that was completely, totally, how do I say, this is some kind of a divine singularity. You know, it doesn't occur nowhere else. It occurs just here with special circumstances that zoned in on him. These ethers came from all over the place and got him. This singularity happened at this particular time. That's it. Didn't happen again, that's all. He's the only person that did that. You know what I'm saying? So we got that concept in our mind. Why? Because of the fear of time. So, but let's look at that. When you look in your Bible, when you look in Matthew, I think it's 12. Somebody can look it up. It says, as a matter of fact, somebody do. Put in Matthew and put in the curtain was torn. The curtain, put in curtain torn and tombstones, and it should come up. You just put that in there. That should bring it up. So 52. And can you read out that for us, sister? Hold on. What happened? Now this is, let me set the stage. Jesus don't pass. Jesus don't pass. They put him in a stone. They put the rock around here to keep somebody from stealing him out of here. And so the noise came. Now go ahead, sister.
The church also were open in 30, but the same.
Right. Right. So now the people that was already dead before Jesus hit the earth and was here, they've been dead for a long time. Those people got out of the grave and walked around. And those people, there's other verses that get more in depth, and you got to get a concordance to get all the way into it. But they went back to the cities, all of those people, hundreds of them, you know, maybe even thousands of them, got up, went back to the people and told them, hey, I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? I was what you call dead, but that's not the end of it. There's more after this. So you have to do a particular thing. So Jesus didn't do that by himself. So it's not a singularity. So if all of them did it and they were already under the ground before Jesus got here, yeah, they already was dead before Jesus got here. So how did they do it then? Well, Jesus told them, this is the way that you do it. He explained to us. So while we in here and we explaining it, This is not for my help that I'm explaining this. I'm explaining this so you can have life and have it more abundant. But there are things that you must follow. And there's sin that's taking place. It must be corrected. So what is that? That's why this particular title to this one is the end of time. You see? So now we know what time is, we can deal with it accordingly. I can't be overpowered by time, because at no time will it come a time when I won't exist. When will that be? Will there come a time when I won't be around? No, won't happen. Was there ever a time? No. Time was created. And it had to come back to me, because I can't remember when it was before me. And you won't be able to either. So that's why you have to manage time correctly. But if you listen to the secular definitions of time and management of time, then you will effectively ruin your life, because you will run around doing things on another person's time. And that's not your time. That's not your life. What do you want to do with your life? It says here, the first verse says, the last prophet in these days is Noble Juali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah. Now, when it says in due time, it's referring to it came in enough time to catch you before you fell too far. But you cannot be redeemed and you can't redeem yourself. You just went down to nothingness. But how far could that be when those bodies was in the ground and came back after they've been in there hundreds of years? They got back up. So how far do you got to go? In other words, it's saying that you can never leave the grace of Allah. He's all encompassing, he's all knowing, and he's all powerful. There is no greater force than Allah. So if I need to apply force, I need to pray. And then I need to meditate upon that answer coming back. Because I'm enacting the biggest, strongest force in the world. I'm activating the power of Allah. Okay? So, because it's to redeem men, he said, in due time by Allah, to redeem men from their sinful ways. What are our sinful ways? Anybody know? Anybody let me know? What are our sinful ways? Huh? Our flesh? Anybody else? Come on with it. Sister, teacher, talk to me. What's our sinful ways? Yeah, definitely no. Definitely no. Anybody else?
It's carnal desire.
It is. It's very much carnal. Anybody got it? Come on with it.
Islam gives you those titles and those names, or give you a black color.
That is your sinful way. That is your sinful way. We are, all those things are our sinful ways. But the prophet came to correct something. The sinful ways that put us in this predicament is alluding to the names of those that the European has given you, which is black, colored, Negro, the African American, Chicano, all of that. All those things are given them. You know what I'm saying? And those things allude to slavery. And you take on those names is a sinful act, because you're going to see why that's a sinful act. And he's telling you that that's what this prophet came to do. Now, this prophet, as the Bible said, as the Quran of Mecca said, come from amongst the people, speaking the language of the people, and understanding their plight. So that's how you know that you have a prophet. A prophet shouldn't come to a nation of people, and he from China. And he might be a prophet. But if he come over to us and he's speaking Chinese and somebody is trying to translate, there's too much going on with that. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to translate this thing, it's supposed to be second nature to me. First nature to me. It should be first nature to me. So when I'm reading out of this book, you know what I'm saying, the Holy Quran, the Prophet Noble Juali wrote for us, when I'm reading out of this one, it's first nature. It's not second nature. It's first nature. I've got a clear grip of it, and it's inside of me, and it's coming out. It attaches to me. Why? Because that prophet brought it to this nation. All right? Now, if it was from China and the dude was talking to me, it'd take me a minute to catch it, because I gotta deal with the word barrier, right? So it says that he said these simple ways, and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. Now, the great wrath is going to come upon the earth and annihilate a lot of things. You need to be prepared. You know what I'm saying? But if you fear in time, you're going to have some problems, right? It says John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was taught by Jesus. So John the Baptist came, and what did he do? He went out there and he started telling them about this stuff. And he used to upset the balance of things when he went in there. John the Baptist, so they'd be chasing him and all kinds of stuff, trying to kill him. But they couldn't kill him because he had a divine mission to get this done. So he would go out there, and they all was under, like for instance, one of the kings wanted to marry his niece, or something that his niece or some kin that was forbidden. So they wanted to get John the Baptist to say that it was by God okay, because he was that voice. If he said it, then the king wouldn't have a backlash from the people. Even though the king got all the power, he don't hold the spiritual power of the people. That job was for John the Baptist, and before that, his father. So he said that would be a heinous act for you, a terrible heinous act, and God would not agree with it. So they was upset. Ultimately, he got his head cut off because of this chick, because she wanted to get that power that was associated with the king. So in other words, it was a lot of turmoil constantly when he came. Anybody familiar with Marcus Garvey? Marcus Garvey came, same thing. When he started talking, it was always some upheaval. People was always getting upset, talking about this. He don't give this. He don't stir that up. He was in the paper constantly. You know, so when you come to uplift the nation, there's going to be some turmoil. So he said that person, that John the Baptist came to what? Stir up nations. Stir up the nation. Stir up what nation? The nation that he was coming to uplift. So we come, so don't be afraid that you're going to stir up the nation that you come to uplift. So your cousin or your brother or your sister or your uncle or whoever, they ain't going to be happy about what you're telling them. Who in their right mind would? If I'm 45 years old and you come here telling me that I've been praying over here in Christianity and all I'm getting is spiritual, or where I don't have no earthly salvation coming from this, and you breaking it down to me and it makes no sense, that means that I got to go back 40 years and try to erase some stuff. That's too much work. I'm just going to stay with what I got, and that's it. So you're going to stir up some things. There's some feelings involved. There's a lot of years involved. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to make no change if they ain't have to. I already got enough stuff on my mind. The system is designed to keep you engaged. You know what I'm saying? Keep you on social media. Keep you with the radio plan. Keep you engaged constantly. So you trying to get me to disengage, go back, erase some stuff. I don't want to do all that. So you're going to cause some uplifting. You're going to cause some people to be irritated. You're going, when we driving in the car, hold on, wait a minute, what you doing? I'm instructing you to here's the law. Why is you talking to me like that? So he's gonna be upset because he's used to talking to black people any kind of way, right? He want to talk to black people any kind of way he can. But now I'm sitting here telling him, wait a minute, that's not the law. And you're very disrespectful. What's your name again? What's your badge number and all that? Well, I'm the one running. You're not running nothing. Give me your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Keep on calling right now. You know what I'm saying? He don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So you stirring it up. It's stirring up because they used to black people being compliant. They want you to just sit there and take it. You know, but you're not taking it. Why? Because you're no longer black. You're not black. I'm Moorish American. I got dignity. I got honor. My prophet was from noble stock. What? Noble stock. That means I got some nobility. You know what I'm saying? You keep on. I'm gonna be hitting you over the side of him with nobility. Keep on. You know what I'm saying? With no hesitation at all. What do I have to fear when I have a law? No, and I'll be reluctant to engage it. I'm serious. I'll be reluctant because I full well believe if I charge it, it's gonna happen. If I say it, it's gonna be. So I'll be reluctant to say that I wish Allah, and I just hold my tongue because I'm thinking it's gonna happen. It ain't gonna fall out right there in the street. So I got to be careful. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna get there too. You're gonna get there. If you ain't already there, you ain't already there. It said, because there's a reason why you hold your tongue. Everybody got their reason why they hold their tongue. Mine is fear of, if I said it and it happened, I would feel bad. Just for that. I don't, this man gone just for that. Just for what I just did. You know, it may not be worth it when I sit down and think about it. Sometimes I get back and I think about it and still be talking about, I wish I would just get into business, you know. In these modern days, there came a forerunner who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name was Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam. And his name is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of man, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine fig tree and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. So he's saying that we must return to our own vine. So what is that? What is our own? I often speak to people about the earthly salvation that you receive and the spiritual salvation that you receive. I can get that in Christianity. I can get it over here in Buddhism, Confucianism. I can go over here to a Baptist church. I can get that spiritual salvation anywhere. You know what I'm saying? However, the earthly salvation is a different tone. Honestly, do somebody, if I leave here and I knew everything there is to know about being here, and I went over to India and I decided to be the guru of everything that's going to work in Buddhism, do you think that's going to work out? It's not. Because it's not going to work. I don't have the intricacies of life there. You see, I don't have that. I don't have all of the things that they have. You know what I'm saying? It can happen, but it's better to stay in your own lane. So get into your own vine and fig tree. We have a vehicle to move in. What is the vehicle? It's already in our creed. It's the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's set up for our divine, earthly, and spiritual salvation. So it will take care of us, hold us, and it will provide us with the ability to be able to politically talk to other nations and be respected. Because right now, there is no respect for the black man. There is none. You know what I'm saying? He's a coward. He's a has-been, he's a nothing, he's whatever somebody say to me. Tomorrow it may not, he's African American now, but tomorrow that might not be the case. You say it may be something else. If they're Mexican, they may be something else. Now, I look at my thing, somehow I turned into non-Hispanic, white, non-Hispanic. Yeah, that's what I looked at thinking, when did that happen? When did I become white and non-Hispanic? My status has changed. So they upgraded my status to the best they got, which is white, non-Hispanic. So that's the best they got. They don't want to give me my status. Why? Because it supersedes all that. They don't want to say, well, he's a Moorish American in the Moorish Science Temple of America, and he's a governor. Well, guess what? He's a diplomat. He's a diplomat. So now that means I shouldn't be pulling him over. I shouldn't be doing none of that. But if they turn me what I am, then they can't mess with me. So they don't want me to have that status. But it's coming. It's coming. And all your time is coming. Because all of you, like we said in Adam, they are in the Moorish National Divine Movement. You know what I'm saying? They are part of it. You know what I'm saying? You are members. All of the members are missionaries. For what? To uplift your quality humanity. Right. So you're going to get this same treatment. You know what I mean? They should be talking to your Grand Sheik about what is to happen to you. The same way they go and somebody from China do something. Was anybody recall a time, it was maybe a couple months ago, where these guys came from Turkey to meet with President Trump. And some people was outside protesting them. And they just walked over there and started beating the dickens out of them. Did y'all see that? Did you see that? I was like, what in the world? It was showing, it was like calm, everything was good. They just walked away from the charge they had to protect them and just start mauling the people with the signs. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you ought to be ashamed of you. So they was talking in Turkish. They knew what they were saying. But whatever it was obvious. They didn't appreciate them picketing them. You know, we don't do that over here. Y'all don't do that. So What happened to them? Nothing. They got diplomatic immunity. They have to take that up with the person over there, head person over there in Turkey. So, so that's the dialogue we're supposed to have. Now, what keeps us from doing something as like that is our honor. Our honor is higher than that. You know what I'm saying? We respect the freedom of you to say what you want to say. Just don't try to touch who we charge to protect. Right? So, with that, now, the Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Now, what is the Moorish Science Temple of America? Is it a religion? It's a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. That's what it is. We're working through this organization. So people can come into this organization and get the protection that they need by being in the organization. And then people say, oh, you know what, I don't want to be religious. Guess what? Every individual walking on the earth is religious. You eat religious. Right around the same time every day. There you go. There you go. You know what I'm saying? You go out to work religiously. Right. You leave at the same time going to work 8 hours, and at the same time leave coming back home. Religiously, like clockwork. So we're not talking about religion in the sense of a European ideology. We're talking about religion in the fact of you constantly getting these things done. Your creed should not be the same creed as a European. You shouldn't be doing the same things as a European is doing. Why? You're not European. That's the biggest reason. If you didn't notice, you don't look like him. You know what I'm saying? So you have to do religiously things that are involved in your creed. As he said, the prophet said he brought us a creed. You know what I'm saying? That we can live by. And we can talk about that creed. But let us get on through this a little bit more. It said, any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc. So you can go to South America, don't matter, etc. You can go to North America, don't matter, it's America, don't matter. He said throughout, etc. So wherever you go, you can set a temple up. That's a statement. Wherever you go, we can set this temple up, and you can be charged with the duty of uplifting our people. All right? It said that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa, there is still much wisdom to be learned. In these days, for the redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So these principles, that's what people are saying. You put this up there, you put that up there, you pray, what are you talking about there? These principles. I'm talking about these principles. I'm talking about this love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. These principles are not known. He says so that they can know the truth. So when you go to court and they say, okay, this is justice that's going to happen, does justice happen to you? Be honest. Do justice happen in that courtroom? So obviously they don't know. They're doing something to me. They're doing this on purpose. They don't know. Whether they're doing it on purpose, whatever. If you know something, that's what you're doing. Or you don't know. You say, I know. No, you don't know. You ain't doing it. But I know you don't because you ain't doing it. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? I use an example of knowing. And these are the little words that I use are the things that you have to change in order to think correctly so that you won't be swayed in the European society that we indoctrinated from such a small age with. And to know something is to be able to do it. So let's say a guy goes to college and he graduates and he goes and get a master's and he graduates and he get a doctorate and he graduates and then he come out and say, I'm the ultimate engineer. He say, you are. And he said, I'm gonna build a skyscraper right here. This is gonna be your first Moorish building. I'm gonna put it up for you. I got y'all together. And then another brother come up and say, hey, you know what? I built 15 of them skyscrapers, you know. Who you about to pick to build this building? The one that don't get it. Because he knows. He still ain't did nothing yet. He still got all the degrees in the world, but he ain't putting out one brick down on top of another brick. So we got to go with common sense. That's who knows. You don't know yet. You just have information. You still thinking. I don't care how many degrees you got. You still thinking about how this is going to go together. He know how it's gonna go together. He put 15 of them up, right? So we want you to know, why don't you work with him for a few years, and then we'll cut you loose. That's what he's saying, right? So that's what knowing means. So we have to be careful with those words. So it says that the world may hear and know the truth. And the truth is they don't know the truth. Because if they did, justice would be justice. You know what I'm saying? Love would be love. They tell you, well, if you really love them, it brings to mind what happened. I was watching the Color Purple. I was watching Color Purple. Everybody familiar with Color Purple? And somebody wasn't, they gonna raise their hand because they don't want to be the only one in the room don't know about Color Purple, right? So they got in Color Purple, Oprah Winfrey comes up to Celia and goes, "You told Harpo to beat me," right? You know what kind of love is that? Why would you tell him to beat me when you getting the same business that I'm getting? Fighting these men off, is doing whatever they can to you that you don't want to happen to you. Now, why would you tell him to beat me? You know, so that is not love. See, and that in our society, they tell you, well, sometimes it's tough love. Well, what is that? I have to whoop them, I have to beat them. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, hold on. You know, that's what we want to do now? Yeah, we're just going to beat them. You know? So we learn under that guise, and that's what we associate with love, but that's not true. That's not true. Just because all these people are doing it, don't make it true. The truth is, love ain't gonna lay a hand on you. It don't have to. It don't have to. If you breed love in your child, you don't got to beat your child. You're gonna have to put up with your child. My son tell me that he's 19. Tell me the damnest thing. And I just have to bear with him. I don't agree. Son, that's not gonna work. Son, it ain't gonna work. Why don't you just do this? Like this. Okay. That's why I say, okay. Because I know just like the law guided me, it's going to guide him. But it's better if he run into one of y'all out there. You see? So the more of us we put out there, the better chances our people got. You see? So that's why it's left up to us to uplift. And it says here that we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa. He said, we are the clean and pure nation. We descended. We descended. Are you clean and pure? You know, people be sitting up there and praying. I've been praying, and I'm not getting nothing back. You got to meditate. When you pray, you're talking to God. When you meditate, you listen to God, right? I still ain't heard nothing. I can't hear nothing. It's just a small voice. It's a small voice. You just gotta get still. I still don't hear nothing. And I don't even want to tell you, you gotta get up here. You can't hear because you filthy. You know, it's clean and pure. You got to clean it up. You can't do all of those things that you was doing before and then want to come in here and say, it ain't working. Because you ain't working. You ain't letting nothing go. You know, you got to try to do something. It's your intent that matters. Like Jesus said to us that the sin is in your thought. It already happened way before you did that action. The thought was screwed up. So, you know, how is that the case? I was sitting here, he come over here, push me in the head, then punch me in the eye. Next thing you know, I don't laid him out. Yeah, but your thought was messed up all the way back there. That's why you was where you was at. That's why you reacted the way you reacted. So you got to work on leaving some of that stuff out. You know, you can't do everything. You know, I went out with this girl, wonderful. She was a wonderful person. Love kicking her, having fun, everything else. But she want to go out every night. She want to drink every night, and she want to smoke every night, and she take a pill. And hold on, you gotta leave something. Good Lord. You know what I'm saying? You can't do everything. Just get one of them. Don't just do it all. She just all of it. It's all good, you know. So we can't have that, you know. And in the same token, one of the biggest things that draw us away from our purity is relationships that are not proper. You know, you got 10 of them. That ain't right. I got 5 women that I'm talking to. That's not gonna work. Just get one. Just get one. You already wrong because you having sex. Right? Just because both of y'all ain't married. Okay, well, we ain't did nothing. Yeah, it's called fornication. Right. It's called fornication because you ain't married. So that is the same as doing the penalty of that in most historical circumstances was the same. You know what I'm saying? But we can't start if we just say, hey, I'm about to drop everything. You're going to run out of everything. You're not going to be able to make it. Just ease your way out of stuff. We ain't got to be perfect. We made perfect, but we ain't got to be in perfection today, but we got to move towards perfection. You know, like I told the girl, why don't you just stop the pills? Just stop those for a while and see how well you do kicking it. Then you can work on this weed, you know, and you can let that go. You know what I'm saying? Then you can work on this drink, you know. So you gotta take it easy because you grow into these things. You gotta grow your way out with your greater understanding. You got to get these things in and work your way out. It's the way you work your way in. Islam, you know. So it says that clean and pure, descended from inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. So he's saying that it makes it difficult when a person desires, you know, he said that people desire to marry into the pale-skinned nation. So we got a lot of our people around here, they despise themselves so much that they want to marry somebody white because it's going to be easier, they feel like. They don't like themselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't know who they really are, so they've been converted over to a European mind state to the extent that they are totally and completely colonized in their mind. They completely colonized in their mind. They think that everything white is right, everything white is good. So they want to do what they do, see? So that's what he says when he says that, he said, do not desire to amalgamate. Don't change into them. Don't get with them. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't change yourself. Be who you are. And we have a structure to work inside of. He said, or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Neither serve the gods of their religion. What is the god of the religion of the pale-skinned nation? What are some of the gods? What are some of the gods? Anybody know? Money. Greed. I mean, gods. You know, God is not something like game, right? Around all this stuff.
What do they worship?
Yeah, they will. What you worship is your God, right? So those things are their gods. So money. So it's now this is a very interesting way that you put this in here. Neither serve the gods of their religion. Now, they said neither serve the gods of their religion. Not just don't marry into there, not just don't find yourself being white because white people are the power structure. So you want to be like them, that's an amalgamation. You got a person that's black, going, hey, buddy. You know, that was just a joke. So you got some people that talk like that, but they don't play that. That was just a joke. I shouldn't have said that. But the point is that you have people, right? You know what I mean? They wouldn't say that. So then I know that they're not like me. How I said it again, sis? It's a Marquise. You know what I'm saying? That's how I come out the hood. Get you a grand Marquise. What you get? She had a bit about her. She had a bit about that. Ariel, I told you she from across the track right here. From across the track. That's not Marquise. All out and we all out in public. People looking at me and carrying on. So we have brothers in the other car talking about what is word? What is word? I said, well, you need to ask her because I'm carrying we gonna get corrected. I can guarantee you that. We gonna be right after this. I can guarantee that. But she ain't opening that trap without being correct. He be sitting there. Right. You know, same person came to the temple. He had a fit. Chris went home talking about, you gotta come here, you gotta hear this. This is this, that, and you need to stop talking about that. And you ain't black. Look, this is the third Sunday in a row you done came back with that madness. What is wrong with you? No, I'm going with you. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out what it is. She came in that temple, had her coat on like, mean. I feel for that brother. He must be strong. I said, he must be strong, but she upset, but she here. And she sat there about 3 weeks went by when she came out that coat. All right. Boy, that is wrong. So it says that you serve the gods of their religion. And we determined that the gods of the European religion is this is controlled through the use of money. You know, why do we say that that's what they have? I say that because of this. I say that because of this. Because you are presently now the victim, and your parents are the victims, and half the globe are the victims of a process of colonization, right? Meaning that there's somebody that decided that we can make some money. I'm gonna send some people over there, and we'll make some deals with these people, and then we'll get them our ways, and we'll colonize them, we'll get them trade them some things, and we'll bring them closely into our fold and tell them all this wonderful thing, and then we'll start planting. Y'all ship the stuff back to me, I'll sell it, I'll ship you some more money. So this process of colonization is what you under now, but it's still been like everything else in school. So your schooling, when you go to education, it's a product of colonization. You know, your house that you live in, and the street that you own, and the streets and all that, the philosophy behind all that is colonization. So democracy in itself is a product of colonization. It makes colonization easier. We need to take that religion out of that. Why? Because, people get so upset about that religion. So let's tell them they can have their own religion over there, but they got to pay homage to democracy. Okay, cool. So that's what their rendition of a God would be, because we function after that. You know, if people don't have no money, they lose control of themselves, lose their mind. They ain't not one time thought to go outside and plant some food, plant some vegetables, plant something and grow it. I need more money, like I go to the store. They ain't not one time thought, let me figure out how to make sure my water is going to be all right. What about the water coming out of here? Why don't I catch some of it? None of that. Just because you've been colonized to think consumption, because they need to make money. So have you ever noticed that the deficit continues to rise and never fall? So it's like so many $1 trillion now, and they say we need to raise that. And Trump had to raise it. He didn't want to raise it, but they had to raise it. You know, so that keeps going up and up and up. Why? Because you have to continue to produce in a colonized state. That's what we are presently in. But the problem comes when your mind is colonized and you don't know it. Then you start to do things like amalgamate. In this skin, you act like you have white. That's an amalgamation. That's two things that shouldn't come together, and it's bastardized. You know, right? That's an amalgamation. If you have, so that's the equivalent when you have a child and somebody was white. That's an amalgamation. So somebody got to straighten that out. Because he tried or she tried to use the principle of European Catholic or European Christian and try to use the principles as Muslim in Islam, they'll go crazy. If somebody had to say to the child, you're going to be a Muslim. This is what you're going to do. You are a Moorish American. You are this. This is how you're going to function. So now that straightens his thought out. Because if not, his thought's going to wander on both sides. And he's going to be confused all his life until somebody straighten that out. You know what I'm saying? Your love is where your people at. We your people. You stay over here. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to go over here and check it out. I got your feelings hurt. Come on back. Come on about it. We're here. But the people was rough over here. Okay, so it say, It said because, he said their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. So we were created for the redemption of mankind on earth. So fret not that we look as though we're down in the dumps. We are it. It is us who will redeem this world from this landslide that is under. It's a fact. It was written at the time we came in the flesh that that's what we was going to do. So it has to happen. So we have to do what we're doing now. So, like I said, if you feel as though you just want to hang out, well, just hang out. It don't matter. The ones that's coming in to get it done, they already here. They coming. They coming no faster than we can get the seats ready. They gonna fill them up. It's time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you in here unless you know that you can fill it. That time is coming. And it's at hand. It said, therefore we are returning. This is critical. We are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations. My grand Sheik gives a good explanation for that. When you say the church and Christianity, you want to give us a little enlightenment why he's saying that like that?
Yeah, Islam. The prophet told you don't. He said, "More, don't throw away your Bibles. You use that to condemn them." And you've heard the saying that money was the root of all evil, and it's actually in the Bible. That's in the Bible where the disciples were told not to sell the keys to the kingdom of what Jesus had prepared for them. And just in the moment that he did that, he told them that, he turned around and they sold that, what he gave them. So they gave up the key, and he told them, don't give up the key for some money. So they started, his own disciples started what they told him not to do. And so that's the reason why. So the church and Christianity, two different things. So they founded the church. So you'll have places that say First Church of God, but then they have the Second Church of God in Christ. Those things are all different entities. So we'll at some point we'll bring the Bible and we'll go through and read it in there a couple of different times.
So all of those things we turn back to you. We turn those things back to you because their love of money and our use of money is two different things. That's why we have to give them back their thing. We have to give them back that love for money. We don't have that. So all these thoughts of grandeur, did you have? Okay, let's see. In the 60s, give me houses on 4 acres. You know what I'm saying? It's so big, you know, everybody comes to it. You know, we don't need all that. We need to spend our time focused on the things that matter. You know what I'm saying? You got a car, you're getting around, you cool. You want a better car, get one. You want a second car, get one. You know what I'm saying? But don't go off into that realm where you need $100 million. You know? And the brother asked me the other day, he said, you get the lottery, and it's $200 million, they gave you $200 million, what would you do? I said, I'll probably find 199 people and say, I'm going to put $1 million in this account for you for 10 years. You have the use of this $1 million. Whatever it draws back, you can do it. And after that 10 years, I'm taking my $1 million back. And I'll find another 199 people and do it again. And keep doing it. And keep doing it. Because when you think about him saying, one person has $1 billion. Some people, I'm looking at one who had $50 billion. Another one had $34 billion. Well, let me think about this. It's only almost 8 billion people on the planet. If it's 8 billion people and you got $50 billion, it would just seem as though we wouldn't have a shortage of nothing. If you truly have 50 billion, he got 34 billion, he got 100 billion. Some of them got $1 trillion. It was hard to find. It was hard to find. They stay real low key. You know, Carnegies and Rothschilds and all them, they stay low key. They ain't all that. They in the trillions. You know, they ain't no number on this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They just get to a number and go, God. Just say, it goes to the numbers and after that number's God. You know, so they getting it like that. So how could you have somebody without something and somebody with that much? So if you have that much money and your brother got nothing, something wrong with you. See? That's a European state of mind. When I say that, I mean the philosophy. I'm not saying that a European has to do that. He can change his mind state to the proper mind state and become the same as you and me. And that's what he means, that we can uplift all humanity and mankind. He said we uplift mankind, so we can uplift them also. All right? So it says, therefore we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. So that's why they turned it back. That's why we turned it back on. Because it wasn't meant for them. It was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. Why? They didn't have a way to get an earthly salvation, meaning they had no voice. They was killing each other. Some of them hated each other's guts because they lived like not far from each other and they kept killing each other. And so they was trying to run, he was trying to run, there wasn't no cohesion. So they created Christianity so that they can have an earthly salvation. What is earthly salvation? A political structure in which you can put a creed together so that all the people can come together and move forward. So that's what they gave them when Christianity was created. So the prophet Noah Raleigh said that Christianity was created by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. Now that ain't for you, Dean. That's not for you. It wasn't created for you. You know, they tell you that clearly. And it says, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which we founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. So Islam was created for our earthly and divine salvation. That's why it was created well before Christianity, for our earthly and divine salvation. And the reason why I read this chapter, we come to it, number 9, is the covenant of the great God Allah. That's what it's saying. It's God has a covenant. I told you about the nobility, which the brother was reading earlier. We got a book called the Moorish Literature, and in it says that the prophet, he said, because of his fame and his nobility, that people was trying to take over the Moorish Central America. They can do a better job because of the fame and nobility that he had been built. That nobility in him. Where did that nobility come from? How could he have nobility? It was his parents, kings and queens, but Allah. The nobility came from Allah to him. And then, so now we get to this right here. We say the covenant of the great God Allah is this. Remember your sin, calling yourself black, African American, all those things that you lose to slavery. That was the great sin that the Prophet Muhammad came to stop you from, so that you can actually come into the true nature of who you are. It says here that the covenant of the great God Allah is honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earthland, which thy Lord thy God Allah has given thee. So this earthland was given to who? Earthland was given to who? Right. This is ours. So our earthly salvation is this. This is our job. We ain't doing no more. So how could you possibly fail when Allah has already told you there's a covenant between me and you? Your forefathers was given this charge, and that's what they're going to do. So you have to return back to the ways of your forefathers, your foremothers, and you will be able to get the job done. Without that, you can't get it done. And it says, so that's a covenant. Everybody know what a covenant is? Who can explain the covenant to me? It's an agreement without. Yes, it is. It's an agreement that Allah has with us. Right. But if we don't honor our mothers and fathers, we break the covenant. So how do we not honor our mothers and fathers? And then we walk around talking about we black, African American, because they didn't call themselves black, African American, and all of that. They had a nationality that empowered them with honor and dignity. So we have to extend that out. So we have to honor our mothers and fathers, the ones that's passed. So it's the same as me with my mother. If I don't honor my mother, if I don't honor my father right here, You know what I'm saying? You gonna look at me and go, "There's something wrong with him." Well, there's something wrong with you. If you ain't honoring the ones that came before your mother and father, your grandmother and grandfather, because your mother showed honor her mother. Your father showed honor his father. So do you think your father's father honored his grandfather? Of course he did. So all of those people are the ones that we honor all the way through, right? So we have to be honoring those people and keep that legacy in place. It said, come all ye Asiatics of America and hear the truth. Now, what is Asiatics of America?
Us.
Hmm?
Us.
That's us. And
The Mexicans, the
all those people that has melanin in their skin. All those people are the ones he says come. So if you got somebody that's Japanese or Chinese, come on, you know, let me tell you something. You got somebody that say they Mexican, really carry it, man. Carry it, come on. That ain't right. So, Panamanian, somebody from Judea, Jordan, you got somebody from, it don't matter. They got melanin in their skin. Come on here, let me talk to you for a second. Because all that stuff will fail. Everything they're talking about will fail when you put it through this test right here. You put it through this test right here, it's gonna fail. You can't get around it. It's been out 100 years, and they ain't went about it yet. Ain't nobody disproved none of it. You know what I'm saying? Every time they try to disprove it, some more proof come up. They find it. They find the proof and tell us, hey, you know, I tried to do this and this came up. Oh, you know what I'm saying? How did you find that? I didn't. But I do now, I got it, you know. I wasn't looking. So it says that the Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright. So you have a nationality and a birthright. Most of us didn't even know that. We thought our birthright was just, hey, mama left me a few dollars, daddy left me a few dollars to do. You know what I'm saying? He said your nationality and your birthright. A lot bigger than that. Because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers, ancient and divine creed. That's these ways that we talk about. That you will learn to love instead of hate. He said, learn your forefathers' creed, so you will learn to love instead of hate. So if somebody say, now we saying our forefathers it was Islam with our prophet telling, and they was learning to love instead of hate, can what somebody else practicing over here in the Middle East or whatever, and they saying they blowing somebody up and they shoot somebody, could that possibly be Islam? It can't be, because our prophet is telling us that Islam is what our forefathers were practicing, and you will study that creed, it will teach you to learn to love instead of hate. So we don't go around doing no crazy. We don't go around hating nobody. You know what I'm saying? If you get my back against the wall, I will come out, and I will be successful, and I will survive, and I'll kindly prop you up against a tree with some shade or something, so you'll be all right, and I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want no harm to come to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's Islam. It said in our last one, and we're right on time, we are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourselves with the families of nations. What is the family of the nation?
the humanity, right?
Yeah, but it's somewhere. We see if they're always doing it. All the nations come together. Yeah. There you go. Link yourself to that. So we have to link ourselves to that. We are a nation. We have to link ourselves to that as a nation. Right. And there's a way to do that. So we do that, and then we function the same way. Right. We have the same rights of any other nation, any other place on this planet. But link ourselves to, he said, link ourselves to that. We honor all the true and divine prophets. Honor all the true and divine prophets. So we don't sit there and say, well, Jesus ain't this. We'll sit there and say, Muhammad ain't this. Buddha, Confucius, no, that ain't nothing. We don't say none of that. We honor all of them because we have a clarity. We have a clarity where we can see that they are the ones that is beneficial. That information is beneficial information that people can use, right? Does anybody have any questions or anything, or any statements or anything? Really? So we have, you got like 2 minutes, you can feel like you will ask a question, everybody's gonna get on your nerves by looking at you crazy. You still got a couple minutes, you can get it in. Without Islam.
So what would be the correct term for what we know Mexicans to be? Moors, or what would really be?
Yeah, they would also be Moorish. And they're in Mexico, that's part of them, it's Americans, right? So that's what they would be, same thing. They have another name, it's a long name, it starts with T. You know, something before they had, I think it was like 1826 or something, they had a war. And that's what, after that, they started calling themselves Mexico. And that was, of course, Europeans being involved on that. They had to fight, and they built a city right over the top of the Aztec city. So the Aztecs, they built right on top. You can't get around that. You can't get around that. When you dig down right where you at and pull up something that's looking like you, and it didn't have nothing to do with Christianity. You know what I'm saying? So that even tells you who they are, all through that. So we have all of those people at hand. Anybody else?
Islam. Well, we have 1 minute. Let's read the letter before we close out and then do the law.
Right.
Islam. The Prophet warns all Muslims, reading every week. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cars for Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your car is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant or the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. If the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah, redeeming people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Ali. Islam.
Amen.
Now we're going to rise and face these. Close out. Moorish American prayer and the cross. Father on the left, two on the right. You have to be Allah.
Allah.
Father in the universe.
Father in the universe.
Father in love.
Love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Through Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Remain standing one more time. Do the prophet's spoken prayer. Allah bind our hearts and minds, back branching forefathers, divine creed and principles, which we ask in thy holy name and the 7 Elohim. Amen.
Amen.
Islam, Moors.
Islam.